Let's face it, guys, every chance baseball fans can get, they're going to talk your ear off about Shohei Ohtani. This Japanese import is an absolute sensation, the first player of his kind to grace MLB's spotlight. Many Japanese players who have crossed overseas to baseball's biggest stage have become some of the most fondly remembered players in our game. Hideo Nomo broke down the barrier in 1995 with the Dodgers and would win Rookie of the Year. 6 years later, Ichiro Suzuki outdid him by taking home both Rookie of the Year and MVP in his first MLB season of 19 total. Daisuke Matsuzaka struck out 200 batters and won a ring in his first turn with the Red Sox in 2007. Even now, outside of Ohtani, we're blessed with talents like Yu Darvish, Kenta Maeda, and Seiya Suzuki. But my favorite of the men who took a chance on their talents and believed in their ability at the highest skill level is someone else entirely. His peak wasn't as long as some of his contemporaries, but he commanded such a large media presence. He was an incredibly unique athlete, a playoff monster, and just generally an eccentric human being. His name is Hideki Matsui, and he is way better than you remember. Before Matsui played in MLB, he established himself as one of the greatest Japanese baseball players in that country's history. He earned the nickname Godzilla for his impressive resume, and it's easy to see why. In a decade of play in the Nippon Professional Baseball League, Matsui was a .304 hitter with a .996 OPS. That's an insane level of offensive consistency over 10 years of play. Despite the shorter NPB schedule at the time, about 20 to 30 games less than MLB's 162, Matsui still eclipsed 100 RBI in 5 of those 10 seasons and recorded 8 2020 seasons along the way. Not to mention he'd smack 50 home runs in his age 28 season in 2002, his final year overseas. Overall in that decade, Matsui earned 3 MVP awards, 9 All-Star nods, and 8 Best 9 awards, which is an award akin to the All-MLB team. He led his team, the Yomiuri Giants, to 3 Japan Series championships and took home MVP honors in 2000. Keep that last note in mind, it'll be important later. But Matsui made his intentions clear when he turned down a massive 6-year, $64 million extension with Yomiuri in 2001. He was taking his talents to baseball's biggest stage, and there were a plentiful number of suitors for Hideki's talents. A year later, he was signed to a $21 million deal over 3 years with the then best franchise in baseball, the New York Yankees. You may wonder why Matsui didn't defect to MLB sooner, and that's because he simply wasn't allowed to. MLB and NPB had a long-standing agreement to not scout or draft each other's prospects. The posting system that's used now that helped players like Ohtani and Darvish sign didn't exist in Matsui's day. Once he signed with the Giants as a teenager, he was under contract with them for a decade. So Matsui came to MLB as soon as he was free to do so. In January of 2003, the Yankees introduced Matsui at a massive press conference at the Marriott Marquis, and large groups of reporters would follow Matsui every step of the way during his career. In total during his career, 35 reporters were assigned to cover him from Japan alone. Let's not understate this media attention either. Robin Ventura was the Yankees' third baseman during Matsui's first spring training in 2003, and he was also the White Sox third baseman during Michael Jordan's spring training experiment in 1994, which was also a media circus. But he told reporters at the time that it was a no contest. The attention paid to Matsui was easily more of a spectacle in his opinion. He was a global celebrity playing for the most recognizable team in sports. But let's talk about those Yankees for a quick second. They were in flux, if you can really call it that. After making 4 consecutive World Series and winning the first 3 of them, the Bronx Bombers were upset in the 2002 ALDS by the eventual AL champion Anaheim Angels. With Brian Cashman looking to upgrade the lackluster left field production of Rondell White and Shane Spencer, the avenue he took was this overseas superstar. Hey, the Mariners were reaping the benefits of Ichiro, so why not? The 2003 season was Matsui's first, and it kicked off with a matchup between the Yankees and Blue Jays in Toronto. In his very first at-bat, Matsui hit an RBI single. A nice feat for sure, only to be completely outdone by his first game back in the Bronx, where he cranked this unbelievable grand slam for his first hit at Yankee Stadium. Matsui's numbers through April and May were lukewarm at best, with an OPS below 700 and just 3 home runs through his first 2 months. But this paved the way for an absolutely explosive month of June, one that would quell the doubters of a Japanese player not being good enough to play for the Yankees. Matsui smacked 11 doubles and 6 home runs for a 1.157 OPS in June, over 122 plate appearances. After the Yankees uncharacteristically went 11-17 in May of 2003, they bounced back with a 20-7 June, their best month of the year thanks in large part to Matsui's outburst. This dominant stretch of offense also catapulted Matsui to that summer's annual main event, the All-Star Game. He became only the second Yankees outfielder after Joe DiMaggio to start an All-Star Game in his first season. Sure, there might have been more deserving candidates, but Matsui was a spectacle and everybody wanted a chance to watch him do his thing. Matsui had just a 760 OPS in the second half post All-Star break, but with the potency see of the Yankees lineup, it really didn't matter much. The Bronx Bombers cruised to another AL East title, and in his first year, Matsui was already set to embark on a playoff run with a juggernaut. In 2003, he clipped 16 home runs but still had 106 RBI to go along with a 109 OPS+. On their run to the World Series where they conquered the Twins and Red Sox, Matsui was an integral piece of the Yankees' playoff lineup. He became the first Japanese player to hit a home run in the World Series later on, with his 3-run home run on a 3-0 pitch in the first inning of Game 2. Though the Yankees would lose that World Series in an upset to the Marlins, Matsui's first year went better than most could have expected, and in the playoffs he went 18 for 64 with 4 doubles, 2 homers, and 11 RBI. In a shocking outcome, Matsui finished second in that year's AL Rookie of the Year voting, losing out to a forgotten winner in Angel Berroa. Berroa had an edge in stolen bases, but the two players were insanely close in home runs, OPS, and had identical batting averages. Berroa won by 2 first-place votes, though Matsui likely would have had one had two writers not completely omitted him from their ballots based on his age. Bear in mind, this factor didn't apply to Ichiro Suzuki or Kazuhiro Sasaki, both of whom were former NPB players older than Matsui, who won AL Rookie of the Year in back-to-back seasons for the Mariners. Matsui didn't seem to mind, but many felt that he was robbed of the award, including owner George Steinbrenner. But as we know by now, he's held in much higher recognition and regard than Berroa, as Matsui's peak was just getting started. He followed up 2003 with a pair of even better seasons for the Yankees. After playing every single game the year prior, he played all 162 again the following year. Matsui achieved a 30-30 season in 2004 while making his second consecutive All-Star team and securing MVP votes for the first time in his career. He was improving his discipline as well, with 88 walks, ranking 3rd in the AL, joined in the top 7 of the American League with 3 of his teammates. Overall, he had 31 home runs, 108 RBI, and a 137 OPS+ in 2004. He'd go absolutely berserk in that year's playoffs again, amassing more hits than last year's run despite playing in 6 less games total. He rampaged against the Twins and Red Sox, but the Yankees would fall short in an infamous Red Sox 3-0 comeback despite Matsui's efforts, which included going 21 for 51 with 7 doubles and 3 homers. Matsui again played all 162 games for the Yankees in 2005 with a new career high in plate appearances at a staggering mark of 704. Matsui holds the record for the longest streak of consecutive games played to start a Major League Baseball career, and to this day, he is just the 9th player in MLB history to play 162 games or more in 3 consecutive regular seasons, a list that includes legends like Cal Ripken Jr. and Pete Rose. Matsui clubbed 23 home runs, 45 doubles, and reached 116 RBI, a new career high and 7th in the AL, but funnily enough, only 4th on his own team, because the Yankees were a run-scoring machine. They won their 8th consecutive AL East title and 11th consecutive playoff berth in 2005. Matsui contributed, but wasn't nearly as monstrous as the 2 years prior, and the Yankees fizzled out in the ALDS. In that year's offseason, Matsui signed a 4-year deal for $52 million, surpassing Ichiro Suzuki as the highest-paid Japanese player in baseball, and securing his place with the Yankees through 2009, much to the delight of fans everywhere. Matsui was cruising, but would hit a devastating block come the 2006 season. On May 11th of that year against the Red Sox, after not missing a game once again, Matsui injured himself attempting a diving play in left field, and it was revealed that he had suffered a broken wrist that would sideline him for 4 months and force him into a stricter designated hitter role moving forward in his career. Matsui felt a sense of honor that was hard to ignore. In regards to his injury, he issued a statement apologizing for the injury because he felt that he, quote, let his teammates down. He returned in September of that year, just in time for another brief Yankees playoff run as they lost in the ALDS to the eventual American League champion Detroit Tigers. He'd never again be the 162-game phenom that he was in his first 3 seasons in the Bronx, as he continued to battle injuries with his growing age. He had a nice bounce-back season in 2007, once again surpassing 100 RBI and evenly splitting his walks to his strikeouts. Overall in the year, though, he clubbed 25 home runs with 103 RBI and a 123 OPS+. Similarly to 2006, Matsui was plagued with consistent injuries moving forward, this time to his left knee in 2008. This limited him to just 93 games total this season as the 34-year-old inched closer to the final year of his extension with the Yankees. To add insult to injury, 2008 would be the first full season since 1993 that the Yankees would miss the playoffs as well, with 89 wins and a 3rd-place finish. But even at 35 years old, entering a contract year and coming off his team's most disappointing season in his career in America, Matsui was simply simply not fazed. The Yankees ended up bolstering their roster with the additions of Mark Teixeira, Nick Swisher, CC Sabathia, and AJ Burnett that offseason, and they geared up for another playoff push. While injuries defined 2 of his past 3 seasons, Matsui would surprise everyone with one of his best seasons to that point in 2009. He played in his most games since 2005 in an impressive year, with his productivity becoming a necessity to the Yankees' potent offense. In August, he hit 2 home runs and drove in a career-high 7 runs as the Yankees beat down the Red Sox 20-11 at Fenway Park. He became the first Yankee to drive in 7 runs in a game at Fenway since Lou Gehrig in 1930. Later in September, he hit his 26th home run of the year, breaking the Yankees' record for home runs in a single season by a designated hitter. Overall, with his 28 home runs, he also had 90 RBI and a 123 OPS+. But nothing would compare to his upcoming postseason performance, as Matsui truly saved his best for last. He quietly went 7 for 30 with a home run in the ALDS and ALCS against the Twins and Angels, and got timely hits but was never really in the spotlight of the run. But the Yankees would conquer both teams, clinching their first World Series berth since 2003. In what he then considered to be perhaps his last chance at getting a ring, Matsui left it all out in the field in the 2009 World Series. Against the defending champion Philadelphia Phillies, Matsui absolutely exploded offensively. He squared off against an old Bronx nemesis, also in his own career's twilight, Pedro Martinez. Matsui battled for 5 pitches and won that battle, homering deep to right to give the Yankees a lead that would stick for a vital Game 2 victory. Although he didn't start Game 3, he would hit a pinch hit home run to add to a stacked Yankees lead, and another victory that gave them a 2-1 series advantage. Matsui wouldn't start the ensuing 2 games, but would grab one more pinch hit single before Game 6. Matsui met Pedro once again in the bottom of the second, and with the two familiar with each other already, this time the battle went 9 pitches. But once again, in a gauntlet, Matsui got the best of Pedro, swatting a 2-run home run for another Yankees lead. He'd tag Pedro again later with a 2-run single for the 4-1 lead, and to cap it off, he'd add a 2-run double off future Yankee J.A. Happ for an outstanding 3-hit, 6 RBI performance in Game 6. Powered by Matsui's dominance, the Yankees cruised to a 7-3 win and a World Series victory. At long last, Hideki Matsui had his ring. Here are a few stats to understand the gravity of this great performance. Matsui hit more RBI in the 2009 World Series than Babe Ruth hit in any one of his 10 World Series appearances. Matsui hit more homers with 3 in this series than Joe DiMaggio hit in any of his 10 appearances in the Fall Classic during his career. In addition, Matsui set a record for the highest batting average for a 6-game set in World Series history at .615. Overall, he was 8 for 13 with 3 runs, a walk, a double, 3 home runs, and 8 RBI. And of course, the World Series MVP award, similar to the one he won in the NPB that time ago. It was a perfect send-off for Matsui, who departed from the Bronx in the winter of 2009, signing a deal with the Angels in the offseason. He'd have a productive year in LA, and he hung around for a few more years before finally retiring at the age of 38. In 2018, 6 years after his retirement, he was the youngest inductee in history to the Japanese Baseball Hall of Fame, with over 90% of the votes. There are many stories that follow Matsui through his fame, like his eccentric porn collection, his refusal to show pictures of his newlywed wife, his sense of honor and distinguished persona with the media, but above all of these things, Matsui was a sound, fundamental baseball player, a great person, and he's better than most people remember. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and now a word from today's sponsor, DraftKings. Guys, you can slide into stacks of cash this baseball season with DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. New customers can bet just $5 on any team to win, like the Seattle Mariners, and get $150 in free bets no matter what, win or lose. Looking to turn a small bet into a big payday during the MLB season? Well, with DraftKings same-game parlays, you can do just that. Create your own parlay by combining multiple bets like which team will win, aka the Mariners, how many bases will be stolen by J.P. Crawford, total runs scored by Julio Rodriguez, strikeouts by Robbie Ray, and more. It's your shot at an even bigger payout. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, and best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, use promo code JOMBOY, bet just $5 and get $150 in free bets no matter what happens on the field. That's promo code JOMBOY at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball and JomBoy Media. That'll do it for this video. I'm the Jolly Olive, and I'll see you guys next time.